Hey, thanks for joining. What is emotional intelligence? Why is it important? And is it this fixed part of us, or is it something that we can grow and improve? So, first and foremost, what is emotional intelligence? There's many definitions to this, so I'm going to offer my working definition. It's essentially how well we handle ourselves in our relationships. I've broken this down into 5 different categories to consider when we look at emotional intelligence. Those 5 categories include compassionate curiosity, self awareness, self regulation, empathy, and then applying these 4 points externally in our relationships. So, the first part of emotional intelligence, compassionate curiosity, having the interest to explore with love what you're feeling and experiencing, as well as having that loving interest others are authentically experiencing. 2, self awareness. What am I feeling? At the core, this is very somatic. Where in your body are you experiencing this? What's happening? And next, can you put a descriptor to this feeling? That might be a feeling name, which is often difficult for a lot of us to do. Or maybe it's a color. Sometimes language can be an issue. Basically, something to articulate this experience first and foremost for yourself. And then perhaps, if it's appropriate, given the context and the circumstances, the ability to communicate then this feeling to somebody else. 3, self regulation. Self regulation to me is discerning when, how, and with whom to express which feelings. So, high impact feelings such as anger may require a bit more consideration of how, when, and whom to express this feeling. Having that discernment is really key to effective self regulation. I do want to really highlight here healthy self regulation is suppressing your feelings or pretending that everything is okay when really you don't feel okay. That's both towards yourself and in terms of how you're expressing this to other people. Now, again, there's nuance to this, as we just mentioned, discerning time, place, audience, circumstances. But first, it's having that awareness and love and acceptance, like we mentioned in point number 1, of what you are experiencing. Then deciding how to move through those feelings. Sometimes it involves other people, and sometimes it doesn't. Next is empathy, recognizing the emotions in others and stepping into that experience. There's intellectual empathy, which is logically understanding somebody else's feelings. And there's compassionate empathy. Compassionate empathy is really imagining yourself feeling what this person is going through. Can you draw on the experience that they're describing, that they're having, and connect with that experience? And in turn, connect with them deeper level in this moment. And lastly, number 5, integrating your emotions and those of others into your relationships, discerning when and how to express what you're feeling within the context of your relationships, as well as when how to hold the expression of emotions of others. It's worth noting here, as we're talking about emotional regulation, empathy, and all these different parts to emotional intelligence, that the frontal lobe here, which is the last part of the brain to become developed, is largely in charge of emotional regulation and emotional intelligence. And as our brain is shaped from previous experiences, this makes it that much more critical to teach, model, and reinforce healthy regulation, healthy emotional intelligence for our children. Additionally, the most effective leaders, and studies have shown this, are those who have higher emotional intelligence. Now, these leadership roles can be formal, such as in the workplace, or within other systems, such as your family system. Why is emotional intelligence so important? It is a critical component of our overall satisfaction in life. We are social creatures at our core. We are in relationship with self, with nature, with the world around us, with other people. We are in relationship for our entire life. Before we were even born, we are in relationship. And emotional intelligence is often modeled or taught early on. Now, the good news is we can continuously improve our emotional intelligence. And a few ways that we can do that is, first, tap into the courage to lean into that compassionate curiosity about yourself, especially feelings and experiences that are often more unpleasant to acknowledge and sit with. Having this increased curiosity, courage, and compassion to lean into this, to your authentic experience. And the more authentic you can be with yourself, the more you feel that you are honoring your true experience, the greater sense of freedom you will inevitably experience. Additionally, when we talk about courage, this is the courage to share what you're authentically feeling in an appropriate manner to the important people in your life. That takes courage. I find it interesting that in our Western culture, logic is often held to be ideal and emotion is viewed as, in some ways, inferior. That, you'll hear people say these phrases like, oh, you have to think rationally and make a logical decision. That is definitely a piece to decision making. However, solid decisions come from this harmony of logic and intuition and values. And intuition and values are both emotional at their core. Harmonizing logic and emotion is really what allows us to reach the best decision for ourselves. Another point that I find interesting is a lot of times people that are presenting as the most logical and rational and even almost boasting that these are such prominent qualities in themselves, it's common that those are the very people that really struggle with that compassionate curiosity towards their own emotional experience, and even struggle with that compassionate curiosity towards others' emotional experiences. Not always, not a hard and fast rule, but they sometimes do go hand in hand. A second part to increasing our own emotional intelligence is tapping into and growing your self-awareness. How in tune are you with your body, with the sensations that you're experiencing? Again, the authentic feelings that you're experiencing in this moment, and even throughout duration, more mood, right? Feelings are more fleeting and mood is more like a season, if you will. Additionally, the awareness of yourself in the context of your current and historical environment are really important. Are there emotions in your culture or your family system or other places that you're a part of? Are there emotions in these systems that are generally accepted and expressed? And are there emotions that are expressed perhaps so intensely that there is little to no care to the impact that it has on others? Maybe there are emotions that are viewed as acceptable, and they're definitely not acceptable to express or share. So having that contextual awareness of the environment in which you're currently in and historically a part of are also really important pieces to self-awareness. So tapping into those details of self-awareness can be extremely helpful in increasing your emotional intelligence. A third way to increase your emotional intelligence is growing your self-compassion. Whatever feelings you're experiencing are valid and uniquely yours in that moment. Your feelings aren't good or bad. They don't need moral judgment. The more that you can lean into love and acceptance of your emotional experience, the more you can ease into these other parts of increasing your emotional intelligence as well. A fourth way to increase your emotional intelligence is, in addition to increasing your love and acceptance for your own wide range of feelings, is also increasing your comfort, compassion, and love for the range of emotions of others. Is it really uncomfortable to sit with somebody's sadness? Do you feel a strong urge to make their sadness go away? Or maybe you can sit with other people's sadness, but to our previous point, you struggle to allow sadness to flow through you. Maybe the inverse is true, but exploring that for yourself, how you can tap into and amplify this love, compassion, and patience for other people's authentic emotional experience. And 5, practicing increased empathy. This greatly helps to expand your emotional intelligence. Do you notice the other person's body language, tone of voice, the overall energy they're emitting, their facial expressions, their posture, the shift in tonation in their voice, and other details of what they're communicating? It's one thing to hear the words they're saying, and that message becomes so much more rich when you tune into all the other ways in which they're expressing themselves as well. If you're interested in more details on this, you could check out a previous video on ways to become a better listener, and we touch on a lot of these points. So as you increase this empathy, for example, you notice the pain in their voice as they are describing their experience. And that can allow you to offer more love and compassion, which leads to greater connection in this relationship. And in turn, that person will likely want to be around you a little bit more. They'll feel heard. They'll feel this sense of care from you, this reciprocity. You connect with them, you're hearing them, you're offering them love, compassion, and empathy. And ideally, in turn, again, there's this reciprocity. Also, to the point of increasing your empathy, having more empathy for yourself as you move through your own emotional experiences, whether it's in this moment, in this exchange with this other person, or with yourself. And while no emotion is inherently all good or all bad, not all feelings are pleasant to experience. It's really challenging, for example, to feel intense anger, and offering yourself some empathy that you're navigating that anger as best as you currently can go a long way in terms of your emotional intelligence. I hope this video was helpful in shedding some light on what emotional intelligence is and offering some ways in which you can increase your own emotional intelligence as you move through life and its highs and lows. As always, I am extremely grateful for your time, your presence, your engagement. And if you have experiences that you would like to share, please do so. Let's facilitate even richer discussion, welcoming also any questions or feedback that you. And until next time, take really good care of yourself. You are so worth it.